in the short term, bad. Interim coaches have this weird ability to fire up teams. Maybe the players are trying to impress the interim guy, whatever. But Aaron Rodgers took some responsibility for last week's loss.
You know, the idea of manifestation involves attention and intention. And then a word that goes along with that is accountability. You know, we need to be accountable to each other. When you make a change on the offense, it's a mirror that's held up for all of us who played. And we all feel terrible about the opportunity that we had, that we squandered, that led to Robert getting fired and Hack getting demoted. I play better. This doesn't happen.
There we go. Aaron being very, very truthful. I'm still skeptical on other statements, like Woody Johnson called him after the loss and they didn't discuss Robert Saleh's future. A little cynical on that one, skeptical. But that was honest, and it was Aaron's loss. 3 picks against Minnesota, all ugly. That last pass up the sideline, woefully underthrown. Aaron is not the same quarterback he was 2 years ago or the MVP years. He's not. You can't deny that. Look at these picks. That is a bad pick for the TV audience. That's Darnold in New York pick. This pick right here, this is what happens to rookie quarterbacks. Then there's the pick 6. I mean, again, just doesn't see somebody standing in front of him. It was a bad Sunday. May have been Aaron Rodgers' worst Sunday. He was awful. Saleh wasn't. But here's the thing now. 100% of the team, it's all on Aaron. You can't blame Saleh. He's gone. You can't blame the interim coach. He was a coordinator an hour ago. You can't blame Nat Hackett. As of this morning, he has been demoted. Can't blame Nat. Can't blame Saleh. Nobody's going to blame the interim coach. It's his first week being a head coach. He's a former player. He's young. This is what ownership looks like. And I said this week, Aaron's the only player to own 3 teams. Green Bay, the Bears, and now the Jets. This is his team. And he said he's manifesting stuff. I'm sure he has a vision board, and he's got it all figured out. But this is what it should be. When you are the savior, when you're the owner of it, it's on you. And I'm totally comfortable. Here we go. It's Buffalo. You're at home. They're reeling. It's really interesting. There's nobody else. I said this a week ago. If they signed Davante Adams, it would then be Aaron's team. I didn't know Saleh was going to get fired off an actual really solid defensive effort by the Jets. But whether it's Davante or Saleh's dismissal, it's now Aaron's team, and the pressure's on him. So it's kind of report card time for Caleb Williams. The Chicago Bears go overseas to take on Jacksonville. It's a weird game. Usually the team's favorites win over there, and Chicago is a favorite. Favorites win. I like Chicago. Don't love them, like them. Jacksonville's been over there multiple times, so they have an advantage in the environment. But again, I think I like Chicago as a slight favorite. But there are certain things I love in the morning: fresh fruit, hot coffee, and the NFL when I wake up. And this is the first game on the board. Excited about it. And with young quarterbacks like Caleb Williams, you have to sort of judge them in quadrants or phases. You can't just look at everything as the same. And so let's look at, phase 1 for Caleb Williams, 3-2, frenetic, chaotic, bumpy, slightly better. Last 2 weeks, really good. So phase 1 was not a lot of great quarterbacks. Matt Stafford, yes, but playing without Puka, Cooper Kupp, and 2 of his starting offensive linemen. They go 3-2. The second phase is really interesting. Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence, Washington and Jaden Daniels, Arizona Kyler Murray, Drake May in New England, and Jordan Love. So it's basically 5 really, really talented young quarterbacks, which is exactly what he is. And so you're going to see 2 quarterbacks, Drake May and Jaden Daniels, that were in his draft class. And then you get his biggest rival quarterback, Jordan Love, also young in his division. And then you get 2 stars that we think are stars, but they should win more, Trevor Lawrence and Kyler Murray. So this next bunch of games is really interesting. It's all young quarterbacks. I mean, even Kyler Murray, like 25, 26 years old. Like, It's all young quarterbacks, all first-round picks, all super talented. All of them until recently ascending, right? We all kind of feel Drake May we haven't seen yet, but so now in phase 2, phase 1, it was a lot of Will Levis. It was Anthony Richardson. Let's be honest about this. It was Andy Dalton. It was a lot of that. And so you're just watching him be trying to improve in phase 1. But he comes out of it 3-2. NFL, I thought, said this before the season, did Chicago a favor with the schedule. They could win some games, get momentum, and be interesting. Phase 2, teams are better, quarterbacks are better, and all these quarterbacks are sort of in his group, his level. Obviously Trevor Lawrence has more experience, and they'll play Sunday, and so does Kyler Murray. Jordan Love's not that much more experience, but had been in the league a long time. He just sat behind Aaron Rodgers. So I think this stuff's next 5 games, it's basically the stack-up phase. Phase 1 was, all right, let's get our feet under us. Phase 2 is, how does Caleb Williams stack up? And no Super Bowl quarterbacks here. There's no Patrick Mahomes. There's no superstar quarterbacks. There's no Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. It's just young dudes. That's what it is. It's young dudes. And phase 2 of his career. This week, his teammate DJ Moore said he's being more of a leader because he's getting bossy. Here's Caleb.
Certain people you can be a little bossy with. Certain people you have to talk very monotone and control of yourself. Other times, just people that you can just kind of lash out, and I don't really lash out much. It's not really my vibe.
I want to go back to last night because my feeling has been about Brock Purdy. So I thought he inherited a Mercedes-Benz. They gave him the keys and said, listen, just don't drive into a tree. And he did a really good job. And everybody was going crazy, MVP votes. I don't care about awards at all. Jokic should have been a 3-time MVP. They gave it to Embiid. It was silly. Jokic won a title that year, clearly the best player, most valuable player in the league. But I watched Brock Purdy last night. And then there was the game a couple of weeks ago where he's running around without Christian McCaffrey. And I had said, okay, I will acknowledge that I have not given his athletic ability enough respect. And he's a good quarterback. But I thought last night was important because Geno Smith has made the Pro Bowl back-to-back years, and everybody loves Geno Smith's story. And he's significantly better last night than Geno Smith. So he's not Mahomes, Allen, Lamar. We know that. But I think you have to put him above the Derek Carr and the Geno Smiths. I think that's fair. I watched Derek Carr on Monday throw a ball up the sideline all these years in the league that looked like a backup on a rookie contract. Derek Carr was bad on Monday. And you know what? Brock Purdy's not bad. There are times he's less efficient or times he disappoints you in the red zone. How often has Brock Purdy been what Geno Smith was last night? Or what Aaron Rodgers was last week? You're like, that's bad. And so as I watched them last night, my takeaway is one of the things that matters in quarterbacks is not just the ceiling. You know what it is? It's the Kirk Cousins thing. It's consistency. I kind of get the same game out of Brock Purdy. Good or that's pretty good. That was really good. I don't get a lot of stinkers. And last night, Geno Smith, kind of a stinker. You don't get that with him. And it's not, and we watched about a week ago, we watched Kirk Cousins throw for 5 football fields, and Kirk's never gotten the love. You start looking at the NFL record book, you'd be surprised how often Kirk Cousins has a record or is near the top. He keeps winning everywhere he goes. And you don't have a lot of moments. Before Thursday, was there a game that you're like, that's one of the great games ever for a quarterback? No. And so we don't love, Dak's got a lot of this quality. I kind of get the same guy every week. Sometimes they don't have a run game. Dak will throw bad picks. Everybody throws bad picks. Mahomes throws bad picks. But as I'm watching Purdy last night against Geno Smith, back-to-back Pro Bowls, I'm like, he's better than Geno Smith. And Pete Carroll thought Geno was good enough. May have cost him his job, but he did. And so it's begrudging respect to Brock Purdy is he doesn't have any stinkers. And that is one of the things you have to say about Kirk Cousins, who I've been lauding for the season, the signing, Thursday. Kirk doesn't give you a lot of stinkers. You kind of know what you're getting. And that is part of being a great quarterback. You can have a bad pick. Mahomes rarely has an awful game. He has bad picks. Everybody does. So how's that?
My hottest take off the Niners win over Seattle is Brock Purdy. He's knocking on the door of Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, that crew, Burrow. There's a group of 4 who are above everybody. Brock Purdy is approaching it. And Colin, it's not just because of the numbers, which are incredible. 9.1 yards per attempt last night, insane. But the way he's moving in the pocket and the poise.
Yeah, he moves really well.
He doesn't look rattled. Some quarterbacks,